What is going on YouTube? It's EK here, and today we are going to be playing some StarCraft II Legacy of the Void, and we're going to play it on normal. And the reason for that is because I feel like there's no tutorials out there for the average player. When I mean average, I mean actually maybe even below average. You know, there's a lot of players out there who are obviously very good. Loco, Nukem Dukem, you know, they're very good at microing. They're very good at a lot of these games. And, you know, and I feel like when they play through these games, though, they are obviously using all of their skills in order to beat the game. But at the same time, it's like, you know, most people can't do that. Most people don't have the skills to come in and play, or you have to build those skills, right? And a lot of people don't have those skills like right off the bat. So what about a casual player, right? What if you're just like some guy that just, you know, is like, oh, I have heard so much about StarCraft, but, you know, I don't know how to really do all the whole microing. I don't really know how to play the game. And I still want to enjoy the game, but, you know, I want to play it on at least normal or casual, enjoy the game. What are the best ways to do it? You know, let's just say you're new to the franchise itself. Maybe you've played the first two campaigns already. Now the third one's out. So here's my tutorial from a more casual perspective on how to play Legacy of the Void. So we're going to just play on normal, and we're going to start. I always love this intro, and I hope you guys like it too.
The Swarm brought ruin to our world. Our proud people became refugees. And yet, they could not shatter our unity. For we are bound by the Kala, the sacred union of our every thought and emotion. Today, we retake our homeworld, and with it, our legacy. At long last, we stand at the threshold of destiny. For today, we will restore the glory of our legacy. Today, we will retake what we have lost and reclaim our homeworld. And may the Kala's light guide us.
The invasion fleet stands ready. We await only your command, Hierarch.
You must halt this invasion at once.
Zeratul?
Templar! Arrest this traitor!
No! We will hear him out.
The end war has come. Amon, the Dark One, has returned.
This heretic cannot be trusted.
This invasion is a distraction from the true battle ahead. Amon's fury will engulf the entire galaxy.
Do not forget that it was his interference that brought ruin to Aiur.
And that burden weighs heavily upon me. Arcanus, I have found a way to stand against the coming darkness. You must believe me.
We have been through much together, Zeratul. But far too many have sacrificed, in the hopes that this moment would come to pass. Executor, commence the invasion!
All right. So, the first mission. So I'm going to go over a little bit of basics before we get really into it. And, yeah, you know, just kind of show you guys some basic stuff that you guys can use in your time to play this game. And hopefully it'll make your experience a little better. And that way you don't have to, you know, struggle.
The reclamation of Aiur is underway. We are preparing to siege the warp network at Karasan now.
Well done, Selectus. Once the warp conduits are free of infestation, our forces will strike as one across the surface of Aiur.
The Templar await your command, Hierarch.
Alright. So, first things first, so, even better. So the screen tells you right away, F2 to select all your units. So these are select all of your units across the entire map. And now it's telling me to attack. So, you know, right click is to move your guys, right? And if you do a...
Aiur awaits you.
Yeah.
March forth and take it.
Shut up. Okay, so if you do an A and click on an area, basically what your units will do is attack everything in its path and kill everything in its path until it reaches that point. So it's the same thing as moving, but the only difference is that it'll make them attack everything. So just to go over a little bit about your basic units here. So Zealots, your most basic unit there. Hold on, actually, one second. Let me make sure the game speed is on. Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah, game speed's on fastest, so you always want this just because it just makes the game go back so much quicker. So, Zealots are your main kind of melee warrior. They have 2 blades, and they're your main like soldier, right? Next is your Stalker. They're your anti-ground and anti-air units. They're similar to a Dragoon in the old StarCraft. But now they're using Stalkers. And then Immortal is a heavy unit where it has a very powerful cannon that hits only ground. So one thing that I always recommend is making groups. So here you'll see you can make groups by essentially hitting control and the number. So now I have control. So now I have groups out of all my units. And what you want to do actually for these guys is to have different groups for each types of unit. So you don't really need to control the Zealots much, but I do like to control all of my guys, part of my guys, just the Immortals or the Stalkers, so that they can do whatever they need to do, right? Okay, so select all your guys, hit 1 or F2. Remember, F2 always, it selects every single unit on the map. All your battle units, not your probes, but it selects all your units, so it's always a good idea to fill up your groups down here with little squads, essentially. One thing you can also do is select buildings and make your buildings hotkeys. So, which I'll show you a lot later in the game. So, okay, let's go fight some Zerg. So the one thing that's good thing about Stalkers is that they have this blink ability, which is like a teleport, and every time you use it, it has a little refresh. So once the cooldown goes away, you can use it again. And the good thing about those units is that you can use those guys to really blink in and out of battles, and really use them to get themselves a more strategic advantages. Because sometimes, what will happen is, like, as you're fighting, is that your melee guys will all go straight up next to the enemy, but then your guys at range will start to make form a line, and then you always have a few guys going like, "What am I doing? I can't go. I need to get around and go fight." So the good thing with Stalkers, you can actually blink them into an area, and that way you can get them to fight right away. Okay, so. Luckily, when you have every single unit that's selected, there's certain units that do have ability. The highest ranking units will give you you can use their ability. So here, it's the Stalkers. If you hit Shift when you have all your units, now you control all of your Immortals, or now they'll be like the main guy that'll be talking to you, right? And then you have Zealots. So this is kind of done by hierarchy, and you can shift through all your groups. So like if you have different units with different abilities, you can shift through them. That way you can just use those groups, or you can just throw them into little squads here in case you don't want to do shift, right? So anyways, I'm going to select all my guys again. So now I even have Colossus. So Colossus are great units. These guys are super tall. They can crawl over almost anything and climb cliffs. And they have these lasers that hit a lot of area of attack, or AoE as they call it. Basically, they kind of shoot a laser across the floor, and they'll kill a bunch of stuff in their way. So they're great against these Zerglings and melee units. Put our Stalkers in there. That way they can continue killing. It's also a good idea to blink your Stalkers out of the way, because a good way to keep your Stalkers alive is just to make sure that they always stay alive by blinking them to certain areas. So I always blink them to the side, like this. So don't be afraid about losing units. Pretty much the Zealots are made to be killed, more or less. So don't worry about them. Especially in this mission, it's pretty easy. It's just one last building. Alright. So let's see. Still only got 5 and 6. Okay. Them here. One thing what you always want to do when you play is to have all your guys attack at once, like kind of attack more or less all together. That they always like go in a group. So one thing I always see some other people is that once you navigate around the map a little bit, your guys will actually start moving in a straight line, and you don't want that. You definitely don't want that. Okay, so we got more guys here. We got almost more than we need. Let's see. Alright, now we got 11 Stalkers, which is great. So one thing, especially crossing those bridges like that, one thing you want to do is make sure your guys fan out a little bit. That way, when they fan out a little bit, they can kind of engage the enemy all at once. I like to have my immortals a little more forward so that they can hit stuff a little easier. Blink my stalkers across so that they're engaging the units right away. So here the hierarchy is your stalkers are the first, then comes your Colossus, then your immortals, and then your zealots. So that's kind of how they're choosing hierarchy, so to say. Alright, more guys are in. Let's keep bumping up my group 1. Dang. Got 3 more stalkers. Awesome. Can always use more stalkers because stalkers are very fast, quick hitters. So you always want to keep them as much as possible.
Aiur, we thank you for your aid. Allow us to join you in battle.
Oh yes. Even more immortals. I like it. I like it a lot. 8 immortals. Oh man. It's going to be freaking crazy. So in situations like these, what you want to do is blink your stalkers into the into the middle as quickly as you can. Mainly because they're going to help keep your zealots alive a little longer while they'll attack very quickly. Here it's going to be a little crazy, so what we want to do here, we have one is a massive force, and we have these ultralisks which do a lot of damage, and spine crawlers which do a lot of damage too, but they're building. So what we want to do here is actually select our Colossus and lure back some of these units. And that way we avoid getting hit by the spine crawler. Once we get kill a few of those units, you know, we can move in with the full force and basically destroy everything. One thing you want to do when you do the A attack and click is be very wary of how far you want your units to go. Sometimes you don't want to click on too far, like say all the way up there. Usually, you know, it's a little bit difficult to control your guys, and they might start doing things that you won't want them to do. So, just FYI, try to make a little bit more conservative choices of where you want your units to go versus very liberal. Alright. So, for this next one, I actually want my zealots to be in front. Colossus to be a little bit in front as well. Like my stalkers. Oops.
The second warp conduit is activating now.
Psi matrix signal confirmed. Reinforcements warping in at your location.
So we have a lot of units. Holy cow. Like, I mean, we're almost over 100 units. 20 stalkers and 8 immortals, which is a lot. More than, I think, oh man, arguably a lot more than we need. But that's okay. I mean, that just means that this this mission is going to be that much easier. So we're just going to dive straight into here. Ooh, crikey! Blinking some stalkers.
You speak truly, Zeratul. An unseen hand moves them. We must be on guard.
So always keep blinking in stalkers to just kind of move the line of fire, because you can see like all these guys back here, they're just walking around, and they can't get to the enemy. So you want to avoid that as much as possible by blinking your stalkers in farther. Yowza. Okay, now we have over 100 units to fight, essentially beat the rest, and we got all of our bonus objectives, so that's good too. So okay, we're just gonna dive right in because why not?
The final conduit lies before us. Show the Zerg no mercy.
Also remember that stalkers have a limited range of blinking, so they can only blink so far. So even if you click on the far side of the map, of the screen, they'll still only blink to the farthest point that they can get to. Oh shit. Oh, my zealots are dying! Not that they'll get killed by three of these hybrids, but still, you just, you know, you want to make sure all your guys do all the work, right?
The warp conduits have been secured. Our starfighters are moving to take this fight across the surface.
Take command of the invasion, Executor. Zeratul, you and I must discuss this most recent turn of events further.
Alright, so that was the first mission. Fairly easy. You know, one thing is always good to get your achievements. So for achievements, you know, just complete, you know, for Aiur, the mission of the Legacy of the Void on, just complete it. Get 120 unit kills with your Colossus, which we do, our Colossi. 154 units, and also lose fewer than 100 units, which we did. We only lost 69 units, so that's good. And a lot of those skills in terms of blinking your units forward, microing, or like blinking your units even back, like injured units back, will help you control how many units you actually lose over time. Because, you know, the only people we really lost at the end of the day were zealots, so, you know, that's okay. So, lapse time 17 minutes. Could have been shorter, but, you know, I am doing a tutorial here, so it does take a little longer. Another cinematic. Nice.
It seems the end war you warned of has begun. Tell me, old friend, what is it you have learned?
I have witnessed the end of all things. Horrific legions of hybrid, raising world upon world. In the darkness, lording over them, a shadowy form. Aiur.
Yet, you spoke of a way to stand against him.
This vision was a benevolent one, as if an ancient voice called out from beyond. The keystone shall usher you onto hope.
Keystone.
I saw a burst of light revealing the Zelnaga artifact on the Terran world of Korra. It is the keystone of this vision. The prophecies speak of Zelnaga standing against Aiur in the end times. I believe this keystone will guide us to them.
I have always trusted you, Zeratul, but the burdens of leadership demanded much of me. There are times I am uncertain whether I was truly ready for such weight.
Your doubt is unfounded, young Artanis. You must embrace what you have become, if you are to be the leader we now need.
You will go to James Raynor on Korra and receive this keystone. I will marshal our forces for the war ahead. When you return, the Templar will be ready. Entaro Tassadar, old friend.
Entaro